I think everyone's gone mental about -14 and streaming services and all that, and what it means to the sound and how you master. So I need to say my opinion on this, and then I want your feedback in the comments. So yeah, let's have it. So I'm mastering tracks for people every day, major labels, and I'm mastering them to -8 RMS. Now, people will say to me, there's no point in mastering to -8 RMS because when it goes on YouTube and Spotify and all these services, they're bringing it down to -14. Now, that's okay for them to do that because what they're doing is trying to keep a level playing field across all of the tracks so that they all are playing on their system at -14. But when you're mastering, what you need to understand is a limiter is a compressor. Okay, and a compressor is just a sound tool. Okay, it's totally different to mixing and recording. This is just how I do it. A compressor, yes, I might use it for a bit of glue occasionally, but mainly I'm using it for the flavour of that sound of that compressor. I'm not using it to crush the sound down like you would when you're mixing or recording. So my limiter is my compressor. Right? So as I'm going into my limiter, that is compressing the sound because the more I push into it, the more it compresses the sound because it's not going to let it go through anywhere. This is how my mindset is on mastering, and that's what I do, okay? So when I've got this set and I want it to peak at -8, and so I turn my limiters up and they're peaking around -8, that's the sound I like. I like it when it sounds like that. It sounds modern, it sounds fresh. I'm a good mastering engineer, so I can get it sounding dynamic still, as in I can get it sounding peaky. It doesn't sound like it's all pushed together. It sounds, I'm still at -8, but I can get it so it's sounding like it's got movement, but it sounds fresh and it has this kind of limited sound, which is the sound that people that do commercial music and music that you hear on the radio and the TV and everywhere else, that's the sound that they've got, okay? It's a limited sound. It's something we've got used to over the past 10 years, and that's the sound. If you haven't got that and you leave that limiter off, you will be peaking at around like mine. If you're just going into that limiter but you're not adding any level to it and you're just going into it, shaving the peaks off, which is what we used to do in the 90s when we were doing CDs, the level is about 6 dB down, and so it's around -14 RMS, which, yeah, okay, so that's what everyone says that you want for YouTube and Spotify. But the problem you have when it is -14 LUFS, mastered to -14 LUFS, I'm then missing this sound that I like of the compression that I'm getting from a limiter. All I'm left with is this quieter track that's much more dynamic, which is fine if it's a piano record or if it's something that wants that, of course. Great. If it's something that's acoustic and it wants loads of space and it's an orchestra, brilliant. I'm not going to smash it through a limiter anyway because I don't want that compressed sound on it in the first place because it's not that sort of music. But if it's a dance music, if it's hip hop, if it's pop music, if it's something that I want that sound, then I'm going to have to use a limiter to get that sound. That is just a fact of life, fact of mastering. So that dBs that I haven't got on there, I've then taken those off because I believe that I should be mastering to -14. Okay, so at -14, when my track gets uploaded, lovely. No sampling peaks, nothing, it's all uploaded fine. But then it's getting uploaded against all these tracks that are -8 RMS. So they've got this limiter sound. And then those -8 tracks are pulled back down, right? So they're pulled down to -14. So you've got your track that's super dynamic at -14, and you've got their track, which is not dynamic, but loud at -14 too. But because it's got this limited sound on it, it sounds different to your one. And so loads of my clients who have tried this and have said, master it without the limiters on the end, so it's just going to -14, I want to upload it like that. They then come back to me and say it doesn't sound like a finished record. And the reason why is because of the compression a limiter gives you has that finished sound and it gives that style. And that style is what a good mastering engineer gives you. So when you go to something like Lander and those kind of things, they're going to get you up to -8, but it's going to be crushed because they haven't got the ability to be able to do different EQ settings and different things that you do to get it to -8 to get it to sound dynamic, right? So when you'd go to Lander or something and it puts it to -8 and then the level gets dropped, it sounds crushed and horrible. But when you go to a mastering engineer and you get it to -8 and then it comes down in level on these services, it sounds loud, it still sounds dynamic, and it sounds finished, and it sounds fresh and bright. And that's why when you've got a track that's -14 going into these services that hasn't got this limiter, this compression on it, it just doesn't sound the same. So when someone asks me for a mastered version that is there, what you really want to do is just drop the level a bit. If you're worried about inter-sample peaks and things like that, master it as normal, master your music, or any mastering engineers that are watching, master it as normal, and then bring the level down afterwards if you're worried about inter-sample peaks and things like that. Because then you've still got this sound, but it's been brought down, and then if you bring it down by -5 or something, then they're going to bring it down to whatever level they think is right, and then you'll be fine and it'll sound great. So that is what is the main kind of false information that's out there. So I don't believe in mastering to -14 LUFS and then that's a finished master. I believe mastering to how I can get it sounding the best I possibly can, and then I can change the level from there if I need to. So I hope that's cleared a few things up for you. That's just what I think. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean that I'm 100% right. That's what I do. That's what I believe is right. And that's what I'm going on because I like the sound of what I do and my clients like the sound of what I do. And so that's good enough for me. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe. Go to streaky.com, sign up for my newsletter. It's the Audio Anoraks newsletter. You get kind of mastering presets, discounts, giveaways, things that I see online that I think you'll like. It's only once a month. So yeah, go to streaky.com, sign up for that. Sorry for ranting on too much today, but I've had far too many emails about this. So I thought let's do a video and get it out there. All right, thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.